What is going on, all you trainers? In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to get into Pokemon card collecting, and we're going to go over the basics of how to get into the cards, what is the best way and best value for your money to get some of these cards, how you can protect them, and reasons why people are flocking to getting into Pokemon cards, or maybe they're just coming back to it after taking a long hiatus from either their childhood or early adulthood. Okay, so starting from the beginning, how do you even get the cards themselves? Well, there's a multitude of different ways that you can get them, but we're going to go over some of the bigger highlights that most people can fairly easily access. So for starters, you can actually just get the cards individually. You can go over on the internet and you can get things from either Mercari or eBay or really any site that sells Pokemon cards. And let's say you're looking for something specific like a Charizard card or a Mewtwo card or a Koraidon card. You can just literally type in Koraidon card and boom, there you go. You have all of the different Koraidon cards that are out there. You can look up all the older Charizards, the Blastoise, the Venusaurs, any kind of cards that you're looking at, you can find them all individually. And so for some people, that is how they like to collect the cards. For them, that seems to be the best way because they know exactly what they're getting and they're able to basically build up their collection one by one. Now, in some cases and in many cases, that could be a more expensive route because you do run the likelihood of overpaying for a particular card, or you can get into what I'll get into in a little bit here, but you could get into booster packs and other different kinds of ways that you can get multiple cards at the same time and be able to pull the different cards that you might be looking for. But again, for some people, they like to go the individual card route, and that's perfectly fine if it works for them. Up next is basically the next step up from getting cards individually. You could get booster packs. Booster packs typically have about 10 cards in them. Now, there's no way of knowing what cards are going to be in there, but basically the booster packs, depending on the set that you get them from, will determine what kinds of cards that there might be in there. And we'll get into what these sets are in a little bit, but basically the booster packs are kind of a lottery of the various different Pokemon that you could get in the cards. And it is far more cost effective to get these cards because typically individual cards can usually sell for about $1. Maybe if you're getting them from a local person, you might be able to get them for 50 cents, 75 cents. For the most part, you're usually getting them for about $1 and up from there if you're getting them online. And so booster packs usually costing about $5, getting you 10 cards. Well, if you spent $5 getting individual cards at $1 each, you're only getting 5 cards. But if you get a booster pack and you spend $5, you're at least getting 10 cards and you have a likelihood of potentially getting a very rare and very valuable card that you might enjoy. Now, moving up from the booster packs, there are things called blister packs. And basically, blister packs are a compilation of various different booster packs. So in some cases, there could be as little as 2 booster packs inside one blister pack, or could go up to like 8 booster packs, maybe with some extra niceties thrown in there. And so the blister packs get you a lot better value for your money because typically a blister pack can cost somewhere between about $10 to $13, for example. And so if you figure a regular booster pack by itself is $5, if you were to get 3 of those individually, that would at least run you $15. And in some cases, you can get a blister pack that has 3 booster packs in it for about $10 to $12. Now, that's not always the case, but you at least run the likelihood of potentially getting better value in rather than actually individually getting the booster packs and spending money that way. And moving up from the blister packs, you have things called Elite Trainer boxes. Elite Trainer boxes are personally my favorite way to get into Pokemon cards. It's my favorite way to get a compilation of cards themselves, but basically the Elite Trainer box is typically going to hold a much larger amount of booster packs, and basically the Elite Trainer boxes usually have about 8 to 10 booster packs inside of them. But what I really like about the Elite Trainer boxes is that it also has a nice cardboard box that can hold all of your cards themselves. And so if you have no way of holding all of these cards that you're buying, well, the Elite Trainer box itself can hold all of the cards that you're buying. The Elite Trainer boxes also have some extra niceties. Sometimes they'll have dice in there. Sometimes they will have damage counters if you're wanting to get into the actual game itself. One of my favorite things is that it also usually includes card sleeves that will actually help to protect the cards themselves. I'll get into actually protecting the cards a little bit later in the video, but basically the card sleeves are some nice things that sometimes can actually have some nice extra art on the sleeves themselves, so to make them a little bit more unique rather than just the standard clear plastic sleeves that you could buy. And in some of the newer Elite boxes, you're also getting a guaranteed promo card, which means that there is a specific card that usually is a lot nicer of a card than just a standard Pokemon card, and usually has a lot nicer artwork. It's a bit rarer in the sense that you're not ever going to see it in a booster pack. So it's not something that you can just casually pull out of other booster packs. It's something that you can only get by purchasing this box. Now, it's rare in that sense that you're not able to pull it, but it's also not so rare because you can just buy the box and you're guaranteed to get that card, but that's just a conversation for another day. And finally, one of the bigger ways that you can get cards themselves is just full sending it and getting the premium collection. And so there's different premium collections. They are a generally newer thing that's been going on in the last few years. And basically the premium collections are one of the more expensive premium items that you can get, but it is guaranteed to get you a lot more booster packs than what you can typically get through Elite Trainer boxes, blister packs, and things like that. Premium collections also typically have a lot of extra niceties like a playmat or maybe some extra promo material in there. In some cases, some premium collections can have multiple promo cards that are just beautiful, amazing artworks. And what just came out in the 151 premium collection was a nice metal Mew card, and that was really nice. That is something that you cannot get unless you purchase that premium collection. Now, while I just threw a lot of information at you, there are a ton of other ways that you can pick up cards themselves. There are tins that you could get. There are different kinds of packs that you can buy, special collections that you can buy. And so even though I didn't necessarily mention it in that list, you are able to get multiple different ways to get cards. And so honestly, the barrier of entry is very small. It just depends on if you want to go the individual route or if you want to go in the route of booster packs and bigger collections and things like that. So you have that option, and really the sky is the limit depending on what kind of budget that you're working with. If you only have $2 at this time and that's all that you're wanting to put into this hobby, well, you could just get 2 individual cards if you wanted to. If you have $5, you can just get a booster box. If you have $100 to throw at it, you could get a premium collection, so you have lots of different options. Now, probably the best way to get into the cards is by, in my opinion, getting an Elite Trainer box. It is the perfect blend of being able to get a lot of booster packs while also not having to spend a whole lot of money. Typically, Elite Trainer boxes are somewhere between about $30 to $50. Usually when they are brand new or they're a newer box, they're going to be closer to that $50 mark. However, if they've been around for a long time, or maybe there's a lot of booster boxes that have been created and they're just kind of overstocked, then you'll see them come down in price. With the Elite Trainer boxes, like I said before, you're getting a lot of things. You're getting a lot of booster packs. You're typically getting a promo card on some of the newer Elite Trainer boxes. You're getting a box that can hold the cards that you're getting, and you're getting card sleeves, and so you're getting a lot of different things that really just gets you started into the world of collecting cards. With getting into cards, you really have 2 options. You can either just get the cards and you can get a binder, and so if you went the cheaper route, you could maybe get like a blister pack for about $15 and get a binder that has sleeves for about $15 as well. That's about $30. But you could also spend that $30, maybe a little bit more, and get an Elite Trainer box and get far more than just 3 booster packs, and be able to get a lot more booster packs, a lot more bang for your buck, and have something to store and keep all of your cards. Now, what about the cards themselves? There are various different cards, and if you're somebody that started off with the original set of Pokemon back in 1999, well, looking at newer cards today, you're gonna be like, wow, things are completely different now. There are a lot of different terms to get confused in. I mean, you have your commons, your uncommons, your reverse hollows, your hollows. You have your non-hollow rares, you have your special illustrations, you have your full arts, you have your secret rares. You have your alternate arts, you have your trainer galleries, you have your Vs, your V-stars, your EXs, your GXs. I mean, you have a whole lot of different terms that you have to wrestle with and learn. But typically at the end of the day, if you see a card that looks very nice, it is holographic, it has some shine to it, it has lots of cool different colors, the artwork stretches past just the base box at the top of the card, well, typically that is going to be a more special card and usually is going to have a better value, a better price to it than a just normal, regular, common card. And with cards having the immense great artwork that they're having now, where it's really taking up the full size of the card itself, well, cards are becoming a work of art in the sense of you're really getting to see lots of beautiful colors, different art styles, and just different ways of illustrating these different Pokemon in their different habitats and things that are around them. And you're really able to relate with the Pokemon a lot more on a deeper level and really see different things that they were telling you, rather than just the original set back from 1999 again, where basically you're just seeing the Pokemon in a small box towards the top of the card. And with the cards themselves, you are able to get them through different sets. And by sets, basically in every generation of the Pokemon games. You have your original games, you have your Gold and Silver, you have up to the newer games, you have Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield. And so through the different generations of the different games, there are different sets. And basically the sets have different names to them. There's Astral Radiance, you have your Paradox Rift, you have your Evolutions, you have these different packs that have different names on them. Those are different sets. And within each set are a certain number of cards that are available that are able to be pulled from that set. So in other words, if you get the most modern pack of Paradox Rift, for example, you're not necessarily going to have the chance of running through every single 1,000+ Pokemon that have ever been in the existence of Pokemon ever since its inception. There's a certain number of cards within the Paradox Rift set that you can pull. But it's up to you how nitty-gritty you want to get into it, because again, you can just go the very specific route of looking for certain Pokemon and going for the sets that have the Pokemon that you're looking for and have that kind of chance of finding those Pokemon, maybe finding special rare Pokemon cards that are within that set. And so you have lots of different options, lots of different sets to choose from, or you can just grab any set that you see and just open it up and you'll be surprised by what you get inside. But let's say you pull an amazing card, a Gold Charizard, for example. Well, you don't want to just leave the card naked how it is. You want to actually protect that card because it is worth something. You can track the value of cards by going on eBay or different card collecting value sites where it's basically monitoring how much cards are selling for, what they're being listed for, and so on and so forth. But essentially, to protect that rare card that you just got, well, you're going to want to do different things. At the most basic level, you can get something called a penny sleeve, where basically the card is going into this plastic sleeve that is basically just protecting it from superficial scratches, from rubbing it on the table, or maybe you have something on your hands. And so you're basically able to kind of protect it from those very basic level causes of concern that could damage the card. But one step up from that is something called a top loader. A top loader is just a more rigid piece of plastic. It is still flexible, but it is a lot more durable than just the flimsy plastic sleeve that you could get from a penny sleeve. And basically, the top loader is there to help give the card a lot more protection from potentially getting damaged by nicking it on the side or getting a deeper scratch on the front or the back of the card. And so you're able to help give more protection through the top loader. You can of course put your card in a binder or in a box, but every time you take the card out, you run the risk of damaging it. But that does give a bit more protection because, well, the binder or the box is there to protect the card and whatever other cards are in that set. But probably the best way to protect any card is by getting it graded. Getting it graded means that you're sending it to a company like PSA or CGC, Beckett. There's different companies that are out there, but basically the purpose of these companies is to not only protect the card by encasing it in a very thick, durable piece of plastic. You can probably throw it across the room and not damage the card inside. That is how strong and durable these things are. Now, I don't recommend that you actually do that with every card that you have, but generally getting a card graded and getting it encased in that very thick, durable plastic that is going to give you probably the best means of protection to protect that very special card. Now, this of course costs money, but the other thing that grading cards does is it basically not only tells you the condition of the card, it gets graded for any kind of deficiencies, maybe if there are scratches, maybe if there's any kind of damage to the card, but it also is grading it off of how the card was printed. Is it perfectly centered? Are the colors right? Is everything uniform as it should be? And essentially you're getting a grade at the end, with 0 or 1 being the worst and 10 being the absolute best. And so the value of the card depends on the quality of the card itself. And so the better quality a card, the higher the grade, the more valuable the card will be. And so for some people, the enticement of getting a card that is very expensive, that is worth a lot, that is a great way to get into cards. But also there are people that just don't care about that at all. They just want to get into cards, maybe because they grew up with it, and so it's great to come back to it from a lens of nostalgia. Or maybe some other people just really like the fun, sensational feeling of not knowing if this $5 booster pack is going to contain a bunch of duds, or if it's going to contain 2 or 3 very rare and valuable cards. Now, while the likelihood of you getting these insane, super rare and valuable cards inside a booster pack is not typically high, it is possible and it has been done. I mean, even in my case, we have bought booster packs and spent $5 on a booster pack and came out with a card that was worth $60 to $75. That obviously very clearly more than paid for the booster pack itself if we wanted to turn around and sell it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, getting into Pokemon cards is extremely fun, and it is a great hobby that just about anybody can find joy in. Kids love opening the packs and finding their favorite Pokemon displayed on cards, or discovering new Pokemon that they'd never seen before. While adults have that and a wider range of reasons to want to get into it, either from the investment perspective or just the sheer fun of opening packs. And so if you've enjoyed this video and you've stuck around for this long, I really appreciate it. Make sure you drop a like down below, make sure you're subscribed for more Pokemon content like this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.